Alright, let's get uncomfortable real quick. Um, don't know when this video is coming out, but as of right now, it's been about 2 months since I dropped a video of this nature, and just 2 months since I dropped a video in general. Um, so honestly, I'm not gonna really apologize for like missing out on time, because I mean, even if I had a reason or not, it's like I'm like people gotta remember like I'm not trapped in this thing, like this is a hobby. And even if it was my job, like some other people have, it's not, like it's not all binding. Like you can have another life outside of this. But basically my point is the reason why I haven't been uploading is I just been like going through it low key. Um Past couple months, low key like just trash, bro. Like if I'm being honest. Like I'm gonna let a little loose on here, so if I that makes you, I don't know, like uncomfortable or whatever. I'm not gonna tell you to click off because I would appreciate the view. But what I mean is like, okay, so let's just start with the physical part. So, you know, as you guys as I told you guys, I'm pretty sure, just been going through chemo and stuff. It's been pretty rough because of just how sick it makes me, and like the medicines I take, they just have like little side effects and stuff. um just not a great experience, obviously. um and then like I had a surgery, and the surgery went well at first, but it kind of took a toll on me that we didn't really expect. So I ended up having to go to the ER after, because I was like coughing up blood, because this was like a lung surgery. It was kind of like routine because of like just my circumstances. Like I build up fluid in my lungs, and it's accelerated by me not exercising. So the fact that I was basically like bed rotting all the time, whether I was sick or not, um, affected my body. Like it kind of accelerated the fact that I was gaining fluid in my lungs. So usually they take about a liter of fluid. Um, Still a lot, but this time they were like they were intending on doing a liter of fluid because that's the routine amount for even just like anyone. Like it's the average amount that they take, because if they take any more, or if they take less, then it's not really a significant change. And for like all the resources they're using, and if they take more, usually it's causing discomfort or um like harms the patient in any way. So I went under, right? And basically they opened me up and they were like, yo, he has 2 liters in here. So basically, they were like, let's just, I'm assuming, well, this is a little assumption. So like I'm thinking like they're taking 1 liter, and they're like, all right, let's just see if he call like the what's it called? The main indicator that there's discomfort is coughing while I'm unconscious or like sedated. So they were like, all right, let's just see how far it goes, because this is a lot of fluid. Like, it could become a problem. This is a little assumption, but like pretty educated, to be honest. Um, so I'm assuming they're taking fluid, and they're like, oh, he's good. Like he didn't cough at all, and like we got it all out. So you know, like great, let's just close him up and get him out of here, pretty much. And then I woke up and I was like, um, excuse me. I woke up. I was like, yo, I'm in like a lot of pain right now. And usually this is like a minimal to no pain surgery, like even right after I wake up. Cause like in short, it's kind of more like a small incision, and they just have like a little tube or needle that punctures my lung. Like they deflate my lung, and then they help me breathe with a mask. And then you kind of go in, and it's like a small puncture. It's not like they're, like cutting my whole lung open or anything. But so it's like small. Like it's a small scar. Maybe like it's kind of hard to know how small that is for you guys. But it's like not even like more than an M&M or something. Like that's the size of the scar. So, um very small stuff. So usually I'm like going in thinking, cuz before we even went in, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to take a liter." Like that was the plan. So I go in and I'm like, "Oh yeah, like I'm going to be chilling." Like I walk out, I take it easy for a day or two and I'll be fine, right? So I wake up, I'm like, "Yo, I'm in pain. Like what's going on?" And they were like, "Oh, we ended up taking 2 liters, and because you had a lot, so and that was all of it. So the fact that we took so much might cause you a little discomfort or pain for a while." I was like, "All right, whatever, like this is I just woke up, so I was like, all right, like it'll probably get better, right?" So it did, like got get starting la la. It started to get better, but it was like slow, and it hurt a lot, and I was a little concerned um with like, I guess, like trusting the fact that it would get better, and I was still in a significant amount of pain, so I was like, "Yo, like there's got to be something up here, right?" And everyone's kind of assuring me like, "Oh yeah, you're good, you're good, you're good." Like that's just the surgery. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna keep it pushing, keep it pushing. Um, so I kept pushing for a couple of days, and then it starts getting worse. Like I get pain. Um, I'm coughing the whole time, but I'm getting more pain. Now I'm getting like chest pain. Now I'm getting back pain. I'm getting headaches, and I still being assured like, oh, it's just surgery. Like they said you might be in pain. They said you might be in discomfort. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Um, Still in the back of my mind, kind of like, yo, this is a little weird that I'm getting worse. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like still doubting in my mind, but just not trying to contest anymore as much. But like it starts getting bad to the point where I can't even like go to school. I can't even like sleep regularly. And I'm like, okay, this gotta be a problem, right? So I start getting less like concerned and more like frustrated. I'm like, yo, like there's something up. Like there's no way I should be getting this bad. Like it would hurt to even just breathe in and breathe out. But again, getting reassured, getting reassured. Okay, whatever. Eventually, I went to my dad's house, which is out of state. And then I come back, like I was still getting worse over there. Um, and it was to the point where like I went to like my cousin's house, and we had like a basketball there. Literally went outside to dribble for like just dribble, like stationary dribbling. All I'm doing is just, like small little drills, like not even high effort or anything. I tell you, not even like 10, 15 seconds, and I'm out of breath, wheezing like I just ran. Like I just ran a sprint. And I'm like, yo, this is OD. But then again, I was still like, okay, everyone's telling me it's cool. Like even the doctors was telling me like, this is expected. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Then I'm coming back from my dad's house, and we're in the car, and I started having like a little coughing fit. And this was kind of normal again, because I guess that was like a side effect. I don't know, man. Right? I have a little coughing fit, and then I noticed like I coughed up a little bit of blood, and I was like, oh, like I had coughed up a little bit, um, when I showered right before I left, but I had like drank like my dad gave me like a juice that was red, so he was like, oh, like it's probably just the juice that you drank. And I wasn't buying it because one, I just know what blood tastes like, and I know what blood looks like, because I mean, like I've had a lot taken out of me, like I just know how it goes. And as someone who plays basketball, you get hit in the mouth sometimes, and you taste some blood, or just even as a regular human, like you bite your tongue, or like um your tooth falls out or something as a kid, like you just know what blood tastes like. So like I was still worried, and I took a picture just in case, because like I can get affirmed by like my family and the doctors, but at the end of the day, I know when something is up. You know what I'm saying? Like your own body. So I was so I was started coughing up blood, and he was still like, "Oh, like it's probably just juice." I wasn't really buying it, but I just kept going on, and then as we are getting closer to my house, I start getting worse, and it's to the point where I'm crying out of pain, like literal tears. Like I'm crying tears out of pain because um like I can't breathe, and I'm coughing up blood and stuff. Um it wasn't like a lot of blood. Like it wasn't I was just, like a stream, but like, like little, just I don't know, like if you were to like spit on the ground right now, like half of that would be blood for me. So I'm coughing up blood, and we finally get to I make it to the house because I'm literally like not even able to walk on my own at this point. Um, because yeah, the pain was really bad. Um, and my mom sees it. Like my dad was still like, he didn't take me straight to the ER. He was like, "Do you want to go to the ER?" And I was like, I wasn't sure. I was like, I kind of I wanted to, but then again, it like in the back of my mind, I didn't want to seem like dramatic. Like I didn't want to go, and like it would be fine because like I think partly because I was being fed like, oh, you're fine, you're fine. Like you know, you won't, like this is just surgery. So even like we texted the doctor. Actually, I'll tell you in a little bit. But I got to the house, and my mom was like, "He's tweaking. Like you need to take him to the ER." And I was like, "Okay." Like I was fine with it because I thought we were going to the ER in my city, which is like no more than 10 minutes away from my house. So I was like, okay, cool. And my mom's like, no, you guys need to go to another city where I usually like would get surgery or get treated. And this is like an hour away, an hour 30 away. This is like prime rush hour at this point. So like I had to basically had to make it there too. Um and like yeah, I was tweaking on the way there too. And my mom like texted the doctor and sent a picture of like what I sent. I sent her a picture of me like coughing up blood, like basically the blood, and she sent it to the doctor, and even the doctor was like, "Oh, it's probably fine. It's too thin to look like blood." Mind you, she prescribed me blood thinners, so obviously my blood is going to be thin. I don't know, man. But anyway, we're on the way to the ER, and I'm still like I start getting a little bit better, and then in my head I'm kind of feeling guilty. I'm like, damn, like we're driving mad far to the ER, and I'm like feeling better, and then I start tweaking again. Um, like once we get closer, so I was like, okay, uh, guess it was a good idea. Because this is like a good amount of blood that I'm coughing up now because it's been like hours. So still same amount, but it's just coming out more frequently. So we get to the ER, and then get admitted and everything. It takes super long. You know how ERs go. It takes pretty long. I mean, it's not like I was dying or anything, but wasn't doing the greatest. Anyway, um, we get to the ER. I mean, we get admitted and stuff, and like they did some scans, see what's up. They were like, "Oh, the scans look good. Um, but we're just gonna keep you overnight. Like, you have a fever and this and that, and like, your pain's pretty bad, so we'll keep you overnight." And I was like, "Damn!" Like we had to stay overnight. I felt bad because my dad worked the next day. I think, yeah, my dad worked the next day. I was like, or he worked that day, and he had to call out to take me to the ER, which is appreciate that. I felt bad for that too. Um, but yeah, I had to stay overnight. So uh, just getting meds and stuff. Um, condition improved a little bit. But like, they were doing like scans and tests and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, it looks all good." Like this is let's just skip forward to the next day. So the next day, I'm still in a good amount of pain without like the medicine and stuff. Um, and I wasn't coughing up blood at that moment, but like the pain was really bad. So they were like, they came and they were like, "Oh yeah, scans are good, tests are good. Um, we don't see anything wrong." And they were like, you guys can leave if you want. This is in the morning, or you can stay and we can give you more pain meds or something. And I didn't say anything, but I feel like my face said everything. I don't know if they really picked it up, but I think my dad picked it up a little bit. Um, that I was like kind of tight, cause like you guys were saying this is a whole different team. Like this is not my usual doctors and stuff. Um, but they were like, oh, all your scans and tests look good. Like, we don't see anything wrong. You can go home if you want, or you can stay and just stay on meds. And that's the only thing that they mentioned. They never mentioned like, oh, we'll do additional this or that, or we'll have somebody else take a look, or like something like that. Something other than just like I saw it as just sitting there and just like giving me meds so you guys can get money and not actually try and fix a problem. Which they dismissed because it was like, okay, the tests and scans can look good, but obviously there's a problem. I was coughing up blood like 12 hours ago. Like there's obviously something. And then they start like I didn't say any of this like, but I was just sitting there. I was like listening to whatever they had to say, and they were like, "Oh, some possible causes is," and then they start giving me like 10 to 15 like possible causes. I'm like, "Yo, like, do you guys even know anything?" Like in my head, like I'm like, "Do you guys even know?" Like obviously there's a problem, but then you guys are like, "Oh, but there's not really a problem, but the problem could be caused by that." Like, do you like what are we doing here? Like, do you guys actually know what you're talking about? Like, respectful. Like, I'm trying to say this as respectfully as possible because I know these people are doctors and they obviously went to school and they, like they did all their stuff. Like, I'm not a doctor, but I feel like it takes common sense to be like, yo, like, nothing is showing up on the scans, but there's obviously something wrong here. And then they trying to be like, oh, but you can stay on pain meds if you want. Why would I do that? Like, that's just wasting my time and my money. Not my money, but, you know, like my family's money. Obviously, I'm going to care about that. So I was like kind of lost at that. I was like, yo, nah. Like, I was like, oh yeah, we can just leave right now. And was I ready to leave? Probably not. But I was like, I was tight. I was like, I'm trying. Like once they left, and it was just me and my dad. I told him, I was like honestly, like I'm saying this in the way I felt. I didn't say this specifically, but I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, let's leave. Like, let's get out of here because they're trying to keep me on pain meds, and that's gonna do nothing but relieve my pain, I guess. And I can do that at home or something. Like, I have stuff for that at home. Like, let's just get out of here. So me and my dad leave, and I'm not really in great condition to be leaving. But I really saw no little to no benefit of staying because y'all are just trying to like y'all are trying to finesse me basically, and then you guys not even have no clue of what's going on, and just saying like, oh, everything's fine. This probably happened, but like you're good now because the scan says so and the test says so. Well, like clearly my body's not saying so. Like I know you see me like not doing well in this bed right now, but I was like, all right, whatever, let's get out of here. So get out of here, come back, and recovery goes pretty slow. Still in a lot of pain, still coughing up blood from time to time, but I didn't even go back to the ER because it was like almost normal. I was like, all right, like if this really isn't a problem, then let's see, because if there's a problem, then y'all will see if there's a problem, and might come at the price of my health, but whatever. I was kind of tight. I wanted to prove a point. Um, Not even I wasn't hoping that things would go wrong just so people would see like, yo, like maybe we should have listened or maybe we should have done this or that. It was just more like, like if there's a problem, then y'all see, and then if not, then whatever. I'm cool. Like um I'm gonna be healthy. Cool, whatever. So we're still recovering. Uh, at like trying to like I was getting better, whatever. I was like, okay. From day to day, sometimes like, it would get a little worse, and sometimes it get a little better. But you know, I was just trying to push through it. And then after that, I had to take chemo again while I was like not even 100%. Um, and then like the last few chemo cycles were just trash. Like I just lost like a lot of weight. And like I really couldn't eat. And one thing about this chemo is I have to take like a lot of meds to subside the side effects, but also one of the meds that I take is medical marijuana. Um, which, if you have feelings about that, whatever. I had feelings about it at first, but it works if I'm being honest. Um, but it also I feel like taking taking marijuana in that sense, or just taking marijuana in any sense, to me, it like it affects your brain. Like I mean, on a basic level, it affects your brain. But I like when you're not at like full capacity, like brain capacity, and it just feels like guilty. Like you feel guilty. It's like I know I could be more like aware than I am right now, or I know I could be making better decisions than I am right now, or saying more rational things or whatever. Like, and just knowing that like it almost makes you feel like stupider in a sense. Like that's how I feel. Like that's how it makes me feel. Like I'm like physically dumber at that point. Um, and I'm like I didn't really like that feeling. Um, but yeah, like it's tough to go through that, and then also like it gives you an appetite, right? Like it's supposed to like I take it because it helps my nausea and it's supposed to give me appetite. and stuff like that. And these recent times, like, it hasn't really been giving me appetite. Like, I lost like 10 pounds from like the last month. Uh, and I was making progress because I was getting like I was at my heaviest like a month ago or some or so like something like that. So I was making progress, but kind of just lost it all. And the marijuana is not really helping. And I feel like when when you take something like marijuana that like loosens you up and kind of brings more like of the what would I call it? It's more like the extrovert in you. It almost like highlights the things that you want to be when you're sober. Like like I would say like yeah, I'm a pretty introverted and secluded person. Um so like I like naturally when I'm sober, like um I like to talk to my friends and stuff like that. But usually if I'm in a place like full of like random people, I'm not like the type to walk up to a person and like start talking or introduce myself or anything. Like basically if I don't know you by any means, I'm not really comfortable. Or like even with certain friends, like if I'm not close enough with them, I'm not completely comfortable with saying certain things that I might want to say or being a certain way or whatever. And like you're almost like when you take marijuana, you're almost in a state of like just like glee, like you're just happy all the time. And like everything is chill and everything's like relaxed. Um and you can like let loose, like you can let your personality out and you can let it like show. Um and I feel like that's dangerous when you realize that life almost feels better when you're high. Um and that's like the first time I said that out loud. Like honestly, I'm just um trying to be upfront with you guys, like or and with myself. Um I'll mention that in a little bit. But um yeah, like I'm just being honest. Like sometimes when I'm high, especially when I'm actually okay, so that's the thing with this. I've taken it like a few times when I'm not sick, like just for fun. And that also comes with guilt because it feels like sometimes I'm not taking it for the right reasons. Like like we all started this like as a family, like we agreed kind of like it's not that I can't take it for fun. Like it was never blatantly like, oh, don't take it for fun. But it was like kind of established like this is for the cancer, like this is for the sickness. You know, like only when I'm sick, that's when I take it to help myself. And then as soon as I'm good, like I, you know, leave it for the next cycle. And the fact that I've taken it at this moment like a few times just for fun makes me feel like guilt, like it makes me feel guilty, like I'm not doing the right thing in a sense. Like I'm not really like drug advocate. Like I've kind of believed that. I mean, I'm not like gonna knock anyone for taking it unless you're really taking it for unhealthy reasons. Um, like any type of drug, like alcohol or whatever. As long as it's not like hard drugs. But anyway, the point is, I'm kind of like you shouldn't have to rely on like a medication to enhance your life or numb yourself from whatever you're dealing with. And I feel like I've taken it for fun sometimes because like I'm trying to bring myself like the better self out. And I'm also trying to like numb myself from everything I'm going through physically and emotionally. Because I did take it one time because I was just in severe amount of body pain and ache, and it did help. Um, I took it when I wasn't supposed to. Honestly, I mean, was never really supposed to, but it was definitely a time where you don't really want to be doing that. And I've also done that. Um, just I mean, that was the first time without supervision, but it'd been other times, um, just for fun or just to be like, oh, let's have like a little experience. And I'm not saying like no one's pressuring me into this. Like this is something that I've willingly done. But even before and after and during, I'll feel some sort of guilt. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Sorry. Um, I felt some sort of guilt because like I'm kind of wired to believe, um, like this isn't the right thing to do. Like this isn't the right reason to take, and it makes me feel like almost like an addict because it almost calls to you sometimes. Um, like you know, bring that better self out, or like let yourself loose, or things like that. And that scares me because I can recognize when like I'm uh like when that happens, like when I kind of hear that, and I'm like am I becoming an addict? Like can I not handle being on this to treat my cancer because it's influencing me in other ways, like and I don't want to be influenced, like aside from like medication to like like if you really can't live without this medication, like I can understand that. But things like antidepressants or like something like things that people get addicted to, um like just to like numb pain or you numb your brain or whatever it is that you're taking it for. I feel like some of those reasons are not the right reasons to take things like that, and it's like it's abuse of the drug. And I feel like it's not like I can't live without this thing because I've definitely denied the temptation a lot more than like I could have been a lot worse, honestly. Like the fact that it was only a few times compared to like some people who literally like cannot go a day without being on something, like yeah, like it could have been a lot worse, but the fact that I even abused it in a way that it was not intended like for me to use, it makes me feel like a fraud. And I'll kind of get into that too. um and I'll like as you would imagine, going through all this physical stuff throughout the months, like I've kind of fallen into depression, um and like being bedridden all the time by a sickness and just being prevented from doing so much, like it piles on you. It almost like unmotivates you to even push to do those things. Like like if like you're being pushed down so hard and so like you're being pulled away so forcefully from what you're trying to do, whether it's like a career or just being happy, to just small things like a hobby, like playing basketball or whatever, or like it's applicable to whatever. I feel like when you're being pulled so hard away from that, it's like it makes you doubt. It's like, should I even try and do it anymore? You know what I mean? Like if you're carrying like 100 pounds on your back and you have to walk a mile, And you know, at the end of that mile is the finish line. It's like life keeps just putting 25, 15, you know, on your back. It's like, if you know I'm being like weighed down so much, should I even try and go to that finish line? Like, it almost feels like just a constant like downward spiral, and you can't really, like, the farther down you go, the harder it is to like kind of like climb back up or just resist falling. Um and like I was basically like, if I wasn't at school, I was basically like bedridden even when I wasn't sick. And I would just sit there and like find other ways to numb my brain, like just watching TV or watching YouTube. And like I would go out to distract myself, very rarely sometimes. Like, it was sometimes, and it would be with the intention of getting my mind off of that, which is, it couldn't be a good thing. But when I was relying, like, I was relying on that. And I couldn't get that from a lot of people, from like family or friends, not because it's their fault, but you know, like, simply because they have their own lives and they're busy. And you know, as like my friends specifically, um well, I mean, my all my family are adults now. Like, I'm pretty much like one of the youngest, if not the youngest, right now. um and all my friend, like, I'm 17, so all my friends are like 17, 18, and they're all like becoming adults too. So it's like there's not a lot of time to you know, go hang out and like take your mind off of things. So I was like almost relying on that, and when I couldn't get it, it was like I didn't want to leave the house. Like, I never left the house for myself. I never went like, oh, let's go, you know, like, let's go just shoot around and just go play basketball. Like, I would shoot around in my front yard, but I wouldn't go to a court by myself and go hoop. And I wouldn't like go to the movies by myself. I wouldn't go to the mall by myself. Like, it's not like I wouldn't go outside of the house and make any effort if it wasn't like hanging out with a friend. So I was really just sitting in my bed right there and just rotting. And that's part of the reason why I had to get that surgery, or as like that surgery as quickly as I did, because I wasn't exercising. I was so tired from the chemo that I didn't feel motivated to work out. I didn't feel motivated to even play basketball. Um, you know, like, if you're on my Instagram, or you just know me, like, I'm in a little like recreational league, and outside of the game, like the maybe weekly, like once a week games, I wouldn't play in between that. And a lot of time, you know, if I'm on chemo, I'm not even doing any type of movement other than walking around the house maybe, for 1 to 2 weeks. So, and I'm losing weight at that time too. So it's like every time I came back to basketball, I had to relearn how to play, basically, not from the ground up, but from way below um the level I know I can play. And it makes you lose motivation, like when you see yourself slipping away from something that you take pride in and that you're good at and you love to do. It, like, it destroys you. Like, not even, that's not even the only example, but like, basketball is a good example to use, because you know, you need strength, you need skill, you need speed, like, you need like IQ and whatever, and like all those things make up a good basketball player. And those were traits that I had. Not like, I'm not saying I was amazing, like, but you know, like, I wasn't terrible, and I took pride in being like okay at basketball. Um, so seeing myself slip away, seeing my strength slip away, seeing my skills slip away because I couldn't, like, there wasn't time to touch up on my handles, there wasn't time to touch up on my shot, wasn't time to touch up on my pacing, and you know, like, when to pass and things like that. And there wasn't time to like endure, like, I was tired, like, I would get tired from the smallest of things, like a simple play of me getting the ball and driving, dribbling 2 times, and then like going to the rim for a layup, I would be out of breath, bro. And like there was even a time where I tried to record a video and I couldn't record it because I couldn't get enough sentences out. Like I would talk, how I am right now at kind of a faster pace, and I was getting tired because I couldn't breathe in between the sentences. I was getting out of breath just even talking, sitting here. So seeing yourself slip away, like, just a couple months ago in August, or, like at the start of the school year, I was like close to dunking and I was taking pride in that. I was like, yo, like, I'm getting a little bounce. Like, like it would be nice if I'd be able to dunk. Like I'm 6 foot, got a 6 foot wingspan, not super insane, not obviously not like short, but you know, like it would be tough. Like it would be nice. Like if I would be able to dunk, and I was getting a lot better at that time, and I was getting a lot stronger, and I was gaining weight. I was making progress, and seeing all of that just slip away, and you can do little to nothing to hang on to it. It destroys you. It makes you feel like you're a shell of yourself. And every time you revisit that thing that you love, like basketball, every time I would get back on the court after being tired, I mean, after like, chemo, it would make me feel like I'm not as good as I used to be. And it is almost like you don't even want to do it anymore. Because part of like, I love basketball no matter if I was good or bad at it. But a big part of why I love basketball is because I like to be good. Like, I like to succeed. And I like to, succeed with my friends. I like, my friends are pretty good at basketball. Um, and I like them to notice that I'm succeeding, and I like to notice my friends succeeding. And like the big part of basketball is that like it's like a community. Like honestly, there's a lot of toxic environments in basketball, but when you're in a good community in basketball, it feels amazing because you guys are like bouncing positive energy off of each other and you're having fun, you're competing, but you're not tearing each other down, you know what I mean? Like it's a big part of basketball is just the community of the players. And the fact that I couldn't keep up also hurt because like in my head I would be comparing. I would be comparing, and I would compare myself to myself, or I would compare myself to my friends. And then later on, once like my mental health kept deteriorating, like I was comparing myself to my friends in other ways. Like not even just basketball. I would just be like, oh, like damn, he has like he's stronger than me, or like he looks bigger than me, or he's more attractive, or whatever it is. And like I would just dissect myself, or even when it comes to personality, I would just dissect myself and just cut down on everything that I was. And another thing that didn't help is that um kind of fell into like a little bit of um like it like okay, well, let me mention, I had a lot of friends like turn like kind of turn the heel, and just act like just act weird, like people that I would trust. Um, Even if it was people I had met recently or people that I had a deep bond with for a while. I just had a lot of like a good amount of people just turn on me. Not in just these 2 months, but like honestly, like for a while I've been on a downward slope, but I feel like it was more like a small hill. Like it was a gradual deterioration, and now it's kind of like falling off the face of the cliff, like just straight up, just like 90-degree angle, like just going like this and just falling straight off. Um, so yeah, like had a lot of friends just kind of act weird and just switch up, and that's more probably like more of a relatable experience to like most people. And obviously it sucks, like, having someone that you trusted and you gave sensitive information to and things like that kind of just turn on you and like just treat you bad pretty much. um but I would say that was less of an impact. I mean, it didn't help with the fact that I was like not getting out of the house or anything, but it was also my choice to stay in. Just harder to get out when you're doing it for yourself, I feel like. Even people who like really love themselves and have a good relationship with themselves, I feel like they can even admit like it's harder to be like, unless they're like narcissistic or something. Like if they're just like their ego is just, you know. But I feel like they can even attest to like it's harder to get out when you're just like doing it for yourself. Like, oh, let me take myself out on a date. Like, let me dress up nice and go to a restaurant just by myself. Like that would seem more appealing when you're doing it with friends. You know what I mean? So the fact that I was really losing a lot of my circle, whether it was to them switching up or just them becoming adults and not having as much time as they used to, just didn't really help. It's unfortunate timing. uh and then honestly, like in terms of, all right, let me stop dodging because I'm dodging. uh in terms of girls, bro, I just been like, wow, thing froze, bro. We're just gonna black that out later. Again, I don't know when this video is coming out, but anyway. Wait, now let's try and fix this. There we go, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, just cut that out or something, I don't know. Anyway, uh so in terms of just girls, I guess, or like love life, just hasn't been going well. I think part of it is I just didn't have a good relationship with, like, I just wasn't associating the right things with that. So I would take a lot of like L's, or I would just be just take a lot of L, like, getting rejected or whatever. And it takes a toll on you. Like, especially when, I mean, I was at the time I was confident, but I feel like whenever you're ever insecure about something, there's always little holes in that confidence. Like if you, I don't know, I feel like if you're if you're confident, like let's go back to basketball as an analogy. If you're confident in your jump shot, right? But you used to suck at shooting and everyone would make fun of you for being bad at shooting, right? You could be a knockdown shooter, right? And let's say you have a slump, like just any sport player know what I'm talking about, but you have a slump. You're not hitting your shots. You taking the shots in the same confidence and you're missing. And I feel like eventually, like if the insecurity is really strong enough, like if it's really not completely wiped from your brain, which I believe most people will say it's not, they have their days. Eventually you shoot with less confidence and you miss. And the more that you miss, the more your confidence goes down. Then you're like, damn, maybe I'm not a good shooter. Maybe maybe I'm not, I didn't develop as much as I thought I did. And that was the same thing I was thinking with girls. Like I would get rejected and then, or I would get like done dirty or whatever. Um, and I would just be like, damn, like I would a lot of the time I would draw it up to my looks because I like to think. I mean, I'm pretty confident in like my personality, I guess. I would say like that's kind of my strongest suit. But then again, even I was even doubting that. But the first thing I drew it up to was my looks because again, like the I feel like that insecurity of how much the surgery changed me will it's like it's there's little holes in my confidence like, you know, like all like I was still getting the same like affirmation from my friends and stuff, but it almost feels fake when you like when you don't believe in yourself, every like it all feels fake. And it's not, you know, it's not my friend's fault for, you know, for saying that. Like they might truly believe that, or they might just be trying to like hype me up. But in my mind I was just like this, you know, like maybe I'm not maybe I'm not that guy. Like maybe I'm just really not that attractive, or I'm just not that appealing, physically and emotionally. And I feel like when yeah, when you're in a when you kind of like tie your worth to whether someone will love you or not, it drives you into like just trying to love like find someone that will love you. And I was kind of I will admit I was probably trying to like talk to a lot of girls that I shouldn't have like I shouldn't it shouldn't have been that frequent, like it shouldn't have been that many. And it was not like again, I was not being weird in any sense or anything in that. I just think I was trying to talk to like people too much. Like I would get, you know, like let's say it's not going well with one girl, I would immediately be like, "Yo, bro, like put me on," or I would go and try and look for someone to talk to, and that would be my solution instead of just sitting down and being like, "Oh, okay, like she doesn't like me, whatever." You know, like let me sit down and actually like process this. Like my solution was just going in and trying to talk to another person. And I feel like, and a lot of it was over text. So I feel like phones can be dangerous in that sense because it makes you feel like people are more accessible than they are. And it's not like I'm saying I was trying to like bag like 100 people at one time. Like it was not, it was never um like a thing of disloyalty. Like I wasn't trying to like juggle a couple like people at the same time. It was more just like I would close it in my head like one little sign of whatever like uh, one little sign that would make me think like, oh, this isn't going well, like I'm just gonna get rejected. I would like close that situation in my head and just go and look for another person, and I would just keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. But the thing is I would never be successful. So the fact that I kept like taking these L's in my head, um, like it just led me into a deeper hole and a deeper hole. And eventually I kind of like hit that bottom, and I was like, all right, bro. Like I don't even like I don't even like this many people anymore. Like I don't even like anyone except and it would be all right. It was anyone but one person, and this is kind of the person that I had liked the whole time. And maybe that's the person that kind of started it for me. Like literally none like nothing is her fault. She didn't do anything. But it was more like I was doubting my chances so much that I would just like, okay, I need to move on. Like this isn't gonna work. And then eventually I need to move on, like healthy. Like that was like, okay, I should just move on. Like this is not going anywhere. That turned into I need to find like I need to find someone that basically I need to find someone that will accept me. And I got unhealthy, and it kind of led back into a circle where I was like, this is the only person that I like for real. And I liked her for a really long time, like on and off, but a really long time, like a couple years. Um, so I was like, I was my hopes were so low. I was like, she's not even gonna. There's zero chance that I have zero chance. So I'm just gonna tell her like I'm tired of this. Like just this running around trying to find a solution to a problem that I shouldn't be looking in anyone else for. So I told her what's up, and like we're like friends. So she was basically like in short, I took another L. She was like, like you're a friend, and I respect the friendship, but like I don't see it that way. And she had also told me like, oh, um, I don't see anyone that way. Like I'm not really focused on dating right now. And usually I would be like, that's some bullshit. Like the ending part. Um, because a lot of people do use that excuse. But it was like with her I can tell that she's not lying to me. Like she's not okay, it sounds dumb because I'm like, oh, she's not the type of person to lie. But really like I think I know her to the extent where it was like there's zero point in lying to me at that point. Like she could have just been straight up and been like, if it was a lie, she could have been like, "Yo, I just don't fuck with you again. Like, I just don't want you, pretty much." So, like, I accepted that. Well, I mean, it hurt a lot more. Like, it hurt a lot more because I actually sat down and processed it. Because I realized that I was trying to find a solution in someone else. I was like, I need to just stop, like, on this journey, like this spree that I was on, pretty much, like to make it sound worse than it already is. Um, So I just sat down and I just like kind of took it on the chin. I was like, damn, sucked. Um, and like this is the girl, like one of the few girls that I like really genuinely liked. Out of the people that I was trying to talk to, because I like I took like a little liking to them, but it was never really like that type that lingers around like after you're done or like after it doesn't go well. And like this was the type that lingered around. So I just sat there. I was like, damn, like sucked. Um, and then I think that also me, like taking that last L and all that piling up just made it a lot worse in my head. Again, like most to none of these people are at fault for any of this, but just in my head, like it made it worse. I was like, damn, like I'm just not good enough. Um, and like again, like that's depression like speaks to you to that way because honestly, like I've never been diagnosed and like I'm not the type to be self-diagnosing like 85 illnesses that I have or whatever. But I feel like someone who's struggled with this for like a really long time in my life, I feel like you just know, especially when it gets severe because like what else would it be at that point? Cuz like I've mentioned before, like I've had thoughts before of like just ending it, right, Like just taking it all away. Um and like that like you like what else what else would that be, you know what I mean? So someone as I was saying, someone as like someone who's experienced depression a lot, you know like that stuff speaks to you, like it's almost like an outer like someone watching over you at all times, like just hanging over your head, and it's not really a part of you, like it is a part of you, but it's almost like fragmented, like it's like it broke off a piece and it kind of tried to imitate the rest of you from what it had. So like anything you would do, like let's say, I don't know. I'm just gonna bring it back to basketball because it's really, I don't know why, but it's really easy for me to like create an analogy out of that. So again, like you say you're a good shooter, you shoot a ball, you yourself is like, I just missed it. Like it happens. But then depression kind of like it can also come from other people. Like those voices can like take influence from like it can kind of get inspiration from other people. Um, but like that depression would be like, nah, you're just bad. Like you just need to get better because you're not good enough. You're not a good shooter. I don't know why you think that. Like things like that. And like it would that's what it would come to. Like my like the progress that I've made from being like I want to end it all to like what you saw a couple months ago of like spreading positivity and really like believing in what I said. Like it made me want to think like, oh, I'm good. Like I can handle this. And like I would uh you know on a base level, like me myself, I would think, like, oh, I just, she doesn't like you like that. Like it's unfortunate, but this isn't a knock on you. Like it's not like there's anything wrong with you. Like she never said, "Oh, I don't like you because this trait or that trait or whatever." Like it's not like you are, like making her uncomfortable or anything like that. It's just it is what it is. Like, this 8 billion or 12 billion, I don't know, man. I guess they miscounted. But however many people is on this world, like there's a lot of people on this world, you know, one person didn't like you. Okay. Even if all those L's you took, I don't know, I don't know how many people, but that's just a very, very small percentage of, the amount of people that's really out there. Like it's not like none of them ever said like, oh, you're not good enough or, you're not attractive or I don't like your personality. Like they never said anything like that. So why should you think that, you know, like it's not like it was ever a knock on you. It's just, you you get really unlucky. But, like that other voice, like depression would just be like, nah, like you're not good enough. Like these people are rejecting you for a reason. There's a reason why you haven't taken like you've never gotten far with any of these people because they just don't like you. Like you're just not likable. You're not as good as your friend, like this friend or that friend, or you're not good as that person, or you know, you're just not good enough. And when you have someone like speaking that in your ear a lot of the time, and when there's almost like hard evidence, like it feels like to your brain, right in front of you, it's like, damn, maybe it's right. Like, I mean, I really haven't had any success with this. And this applies to any situation, but I'm applying it here because I mean, depression really does affect a lot of aspects of your life, if not every aspect. But yeah, like in this sense, I'm just explaining it in this sense. But basically, like when when depression convinces your regular brain that depression is right, like that's when it's bad because usually it's like a battle. Like for me, um, because I've like the progress that I made like is really deeply rooted me in these positive ideals or these like more realistic ideals. But when you like depression and yourself kind of team up to like just beat the shit out of you, like that's really when it gets dangerous. Like I'm not saying this is the only factor that got me to that point. But like the depression got so bad where I had those thoughts again that to like take my life. Um because I feel like a burden, or I feel like I'm not doing enough, and that's another factor. Like I was so kind of like burnt out from keeping up with school while, missing time with chemo and all these other factors that I've mentioned and factors that I haven't even gotten to yet. It's made it harder to keep going because it makes me even question my faith. Like, why am I even going through this? Um, no one should go through this, but like I feel like even me, like, I'm 17, bro. Like, I shouldn't have to deal with all of this, and no person should have to deal with all of this. Just makes it hard to keep going. I don't want to, I don't want to, like, I guess um, break my cool here. um, but I just had a hard time continuing because it just felt like a constant cycle. Like I was always just getting sick, getting sick, getting sick, and then as soon as I'm not sick, I have to spend all my time doing homework or catching up or doing other things that's not what I want to do, like making videos or doing art because I'm burnt out from that because I don't like I'm doing it in class. I don't want to do it anymore. Um, Making music I don't want to do anymore. I couldn't even do it for a long time because I literally didn't have the breath capacity to 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 use any like my voice. Like I couldn't I couldn't talk much, so I definitely couldn't like rap or anything. Um and I like the depression really just makes you lose interest in all the things that you love. So I wasn't writing music. I wasn't editing a video. I wasn't I would play the game sometimes, but only because it numbs your mind. Like any of the hobbies that I do, like writing music or editing a video or making art, that doesn't numb my mind. That takes effort. That takes like not saying gaming doesn't take effort, but it's more something that you can get lost inside of. These things that I'm talking about, it's like it takes active you know like effort to keep going. Um, whereas a game is kind of like it's a game, you know, like you can get lost inside of it and you're putting in effort, but it takes so much of your focus that the you kind of even forget about the real world anyway. So that was one of the activities I would do while I would just rot in my bed. Um, and like going to school sucked because I had to see like I would either just be dog tired, sick, or just like I didn't want to do work, or like I didn't want to see the people that had been not the cause of my pain, but like the root of it. Like friends that I've ended on bad terms with, or friends that have done me dirty, or just people who have done me dirty, or girls that I wasn't ready to like confront yet, or just things like that. And then I'm almost like always reminded that I'm sick, so it's never off of my mind much, and that's why I would resort to like brain rotting and just sitting here and doing nothing. And like the overwhelming like even when I didn't have as much work, which is why I'm recording this video, because the work is getting easier to manage. But like even when I wasn't getting a lot of work at times, like it felt like I had to do so much that like it makes you freeze, like you don't do anything at all. Like when you're overwhelmed with options, like it's a proven thing. Like when you're overwhelmed with options, you're frozen because it's so many things to process at once that you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. I don't have any like I don't at this time I didn't have a lot of guidance, and I still don't have a lot of guidance. Like I'm kind of just carving my own path here, because I mean honestly, there's people who've walked near my path. Not many close to me, but like people who walk near my path, and anyone can say this, but they're not walking my path. No one knows what's exactly ahead of me. That's like scary, because when you're in a state like that, where you think about ending it, it's like, well, who do I turn to like that would know, or like who can I like look up to and like model after or whatever. And like that's why I'm sitting here and like being like very open, um because like someone that I do respect and look up to came up to me today. Like he had like tested me beforehand, and he was like, oh, like, I want to see you have a like creative idea, like don't just talk about your pain. And I was like, like I can get behind that. Like I was really good at like a part of this video was going to be in another video where I was going to talk about like men's mental health, because you are trained as a man to be silent and strong, and just, put your head down and just keep going, not communicate, not express your feelings or anything like that. Um, but anyway, getting back to the point, um, I was thinking about that. So he gave me like a couple days to digest. Like I never told him like, oh, that's what I'm gonna do, but I thought about it, and then he came up to me today. He was like, hey, like you had any creative ideas yet? And at the moment, I couldn't really think of much. I was like, and then I was like, oh, I was gonna talk about like how hard like these past couple months have been. And he's like, that's good. Um, but then I was like, oh, I'm not sure like what direction to take though, because I don't know if I want to be like just venting, or I want to turn it into like a positive message for you guys. And he was like, well, which one feels more real to you? I was like, probably just venting and like just being honest. He's like, you don't always have to turn it into a positive message. Like that's if you feel like that's outside of yourself, then just be honest. And I was like, damn. And he was telling me like, he makes content too. He was like, the things that I do in my content, like that's myself. I do like to spread a positive message, but sometimes that's not always what I'm feeling. And that's when I choose not to share my message. Or that's the way I interpreted what he said sometimes. Like he said something along those lines too. Um, I mean, not, okay, I wouldn't say directly, but there's ways to interpret what people said. But also, he was like, like like all my stuff is authentic. Like if you feel like you're making something outside of yourself, then you're being influenced by other things or other people. And he gave me an example. He was like, uh, when you cut your hair, like, you know, how do people feel about it? And or like, did they give you compliments? I was like, not really. Like, I don't really get a lot of compliments. And he was like, okay. And I told him like, honestly, people were telling me to go back to long hair. Um, and he was like, oh, okay. So did you listen to them? What do you like? And I was like, I like my hair short. Um, and he was telling me, why did you cut your hair? I cut it because I was just tired of the long hair. And he was like, well, you didn't listen to those other people. you did what you like because that's yourself. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I'm, you know, I I was thinking that he kind of left me with that. He was like, just be yourself. Don't try and spin it for a positive message for other people because, this is your thing. Like, this is yourself. And then he left. And I was reflecting on it, just like I feel like I have been putting on a little bit, like not even it's not even a show because the videos that I made before to like, spread a positive message, that was 100% authentic to myself. But the like, when I formed that ideation of like, okay, let's make my channel about this, it made me feel like every video that I had to make had to be some sort of formula to like spin a positive message. Like I would have an idea and I would be like, okay, this is coming from my heart. Like this is, events or like an event thing or like you know, something that I experienced. Because when I drop those videos, it's usually because I had an experience recently and I just wanted to talk about it and I wanted to spread a positive message because that's how I was feeling at the time. I was positive. So, um, it's not like those videos were fake at all, but it made me feel like I had to follow a formula. And, it was almost like my own advice that I was hearing. Um, like that video of just like me telling you guys that, oh, be yourself. Like, who cares? Because, who cares? Like, this is my thing. Like, of course, you guys are watching my video, for whatever reason, for informative reasons or for entertainment or, because you know me or whatever. I don't know. Whatever reason you're watching this video or my videos in general. Like, this is my thing. Like, it's not like I made this for I mean, I did kind of make it for other people. And that's maybe my problem because and it's hard to balance because you think about I was so like success driven, like I wanted this thing to kind of come off the ground a little bit. I'm not saying, like, oh, let me make a living off of this because it takes a lot more than what I'm doing to do that. Um, or just like it's a hard dream to really believe in and it's maybe not what I always want, sitting at a computer all day. But like I wanted this to come off the ground also for the wrong reasons because I felt like I had to contribute something. Like I had to, make some type of money to help with whatever. And like the fact that I've made it more like respectfully, the fact that I made it more about you guys than myself made me kind of this is not like obviously not your guys' fault at all. This is kind of just what happens in my mind. But I almost molded myself to be like, okay, what would these people want? You know, like what would these people want to see? What would these people want to hear? Because I was getting so much feedback, like, oh, I love your videos, like it, it helps me a lot. Like, this is what I need to hear, or can you do a video about this? Can you do a video about that? And things of that nature. And obviously, I love the support, but I was taking it and I was twisting it in my head, and I was like, okay, like, what do these people want to see? And it became less of what I wanted to talk about, and became more of what do these people want to hear me talk about? And I hadn't realized that, and it destroyed my relationship with this. And that's why even when I was physically able, which is not often, but even when I was physically able to sit here and record a video, I didn't want to. Partly because of depression, but partly because of um just not feeling like this is myself almost. Like I was talking with my knowledge and my beliefs and my thing, but not with what I want us to talk about all the time. And I would, and the analytics, I heard, like, I watched a video, I watched a document, not a documentary, an interview of Dan TDM, and he was talking about how the analytics had like kind of like impacted his brain, like it made him um kind of just drive himself like into the ground per se. Like he said, like the improvement of analytics over shit froze again, bro. Come on. He was saying the influence that the analytics, like the improvement in the analytics, uh, can have, like, it has a bigger effect now because of how much you can really see. Before it was just how many views you had, how many likes it had, and things like that. Like it was really like a couple of stats. Now it's like who's watching, how long are they watching, where are they watching from, and things like that. And when you feel like you can see the the super breakdown of your video, it makes you feel like you gotta like produce better quality, and you gotta like you have to better yourself. You have to do this and do that because it'll make them stay longer, and this and this and that. So I would like pump out a video, or I would just like do something that I know people would like, but not exactly what I wanted to do. Um, and I would see certain videos that I was more passionate about, like not do as well as some other ones, and then I'm like, okay, so I have to steer in this direction. And I even mentioned it, I think, in one of my videos that I was gonna um ride with the success. And this is kind of like the beauty and the flaw of human thing, because you can backtrack on what you say, and like what you say isn't written in stone, but that can also mean that you contradict yourself and you kind of battle yourself. Like as much as I would want to ride to success and like build something out of this, I think it's more important to myself that I do this because I want to do it, and I'm doing this because I'm passionate about what I say and what I cover, and whatever content that I do, because as you see on my channel, like I do a lot of different type of videos. I don't always sit here and just talk in front of a camera. Sometimes I play a game. Sometimes I do little drawings. I was gonna make a whole animation at one point. Um, and even that was stemmed from, oh, I have to ride the success, and that'll take me away to where I want, which was to contribute. But I'm contribute like I want to contribute for the wrong reasons. I'm wanting to contribute because I feel like I'm not enough, and that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like if I feel like I'm not enough, then what point does it? What point am I enough? How much money do I have to bring in? How many stats do I have to produce? How many things do I have to do around the house, or whatever it is? How much is enough? And it even stems back to like girls. Be like, you know, how, like, not even, I don't even see it that way. Not even, I was gonna say like, oh, how many girls can you pull, or what type of girls can you pull, things like that. But just like, like the affirmation, I would say, just in any sense, how many shots do I have to make to be good enough? You know, like how many people do I have to beat to be good enough? How high do I have to jump? How fast do I have to be? How good do my handles have to be? Like when you really feel like you're not good enough, what point does it stop? What point are you happy with how far you've become? How far you've come, you know? So it's a never-ending hole. And I mentioned before, that's the the beauty and the flaw of success too. I mentioned in my other video. Um that like you can strive to be better and like self improve and keep going, and that's a great thing. But if you're at the point where it's like you feel like you're not good enough until you improve or until you reach a certain milestone, how many milestones do you have to, you know, get to before you're good enough? And you know, that's something that I've been like trying to answer, um, or just trying to like, I just been trying to like regulate myself. You know what I mean? Um, because I know this isn't the me that I want. And unfortunately, like when you're going through so much, it's sometimes just the you that you all you have. That's all you have. Um, and yeah, like I just, it's for lack of better terms, I need to lock in. I need to get better. Um, so yeah, that's a lot of the reason why I've been gone. Um, that's all that I can think of. I really, obviously, I have no script right now, so I'm just talking off the dome. But I'm really, I'm not gonna, honestly, I'm not gonna apologize for the time I've been gone, and I don't think anyone should apologize for the time they've been gone because as much as like you know, people be like, "Oh, YouTube is easier or whatever." Like, your life is easy because of this, and that. I had to go through this, and that. No one's life is easy. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter how much money they have. It doesn't matter what type of people they're around or how good they are or something. No one's life is easy by any means. So people can never really understand. Like I've seen people like shit on Corey because he hasn't come back in 8 months. He hasn't come back in 9 months. And people gotta understand, one, they have like people have lives outside of their job. And his job is YouTube to an extent. Um but also like, they're not obligated to be there all the time. And it's mentally draining to be there all the time, especially when you're doing everything yourself. And I would know because I do everything myself. You know, I don't have an editor. I don't have things like that, and he doesn't either. So, and when he's especially when he's doing other projects, like the man is like burnt. Like you do anything long enough, even if you love it, you're gonna get burnt out at some point. There needs to be a healthy amount of what you're doing. And like he be living life, bro. He be going to Japan. He be, working on his book. I have it over here. I have to read it. I still haven't read it. But that just goes to show, like it's been sitting there for a minute, and I just haven't touched it because I haven't touched anything. I haven't. I barely edited. If like, yeah, I didn't edit it pretty much. Like the Moral Rivals video. I haven't done my own art for a while. Um, oh, sorry, I haven't done my own art for a while. Like what I wanted to do. Like today was the first time I was just doodling. My art teacher was absent. Like I did my assignment, but um, I was just doodling for fun, and I was like, damn, like I haven't done this in a long time. And like playing the game, it's fun when you're on with friends, and that's cool. Like it's not like I stopped doing that, but I've done it less because I felt like I had to do so much more. And because I felt like I had to do so much more, it would keep piling on. I would be like, I have to do more, I have to do more, I have to do more. And once I got burned out, I just didn't know what to do. Like I froze because I felt like I had so much to do and I wasn't doing any of it. And I mean, eventually, like I picked it up because I feel like no matter no matter how hard it is, I can never give up my grades. Honestly, like I would take longer to do work, but I would eventually do the work. Um, so I picked up my homework. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then I picked up basketball, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try, even though it's honestly currently like it's still really hard to feel motivated to play when you're not yourself, pretty much when you're not your best self. Um, but I picked that up. Okay, I'm trying to play. Like videos, like I've made efforts to try and start this up again. Have they been successful? Not really until now. That is if I even edit this or anything like that. Um, art, I tried it today. It was fun. Just doing my own thing, not having any restrictions, not having to um, fit an agenda or fit like a method that I wasn't familiar with. Not basically what that figure told me, like not conforming to what other people are telling me to do, or like what I feel like I have to do by external pressures. I mean, it's also internal pressure, but I feel like that can also build from external pressure. So, like, letting that go helped me a lot. And I feel like today is one of the big, like, first steps of, okay, like, like, I'm not gonna sulk anymore. Like, I'm gonna get up and try and define myself and make sure every step that I take is authentic to myself. I'm not making, I'm not like kind of almost attaching a character to myself to seem more positive or anything like that. Because like like I said, I was very authentic to what I was feeling at the time. But I feel like you can be authentic but also project. Like that was the way I was feeling, but I would project maybe like the way I said things, or what points I would make and things like that. Um like it was kind of like, if you watch that interview with Dan TDM, I'll probably, if I'm editing this, I'll probably put like a little thumbnail or something, or a link in the description of like that video, because it helped me a lot too. Knowing that someone that I like had looked up to as a kid had also been going through like similar things to me. It helped a lot. But they also mentioned in that video, um, damn, I forgot what, damn, I forgot what we were talking, what a point I was making. Oh, um, he had mentioned, like Dan CDM had mentioned, like I have Dan and I have Dan CDM, and when the camera comes on, it's almost like a flip of a switch. Like Dan CDM is still Dan, like it's still me, but it's almost like an attached version. Like it's like a almost like a DLC. Like like he didn't say it like that, but I'm trying to make it more explainable. Like it's almost like a DLC. Like it's still the base game. Like it cannot operate without the base game. It's still yourself. But when you flip on the camera, it's kind of like you're not putting on a show, but you're just making yourself bigger, or you're making yourself like you're highlighting a different version of yourself. Because he had mentioned again that he was kind of like an introvert. Like in person, like Dan, the regular guy, is an introvert. Like he's very shy, he's very secluded. But once he turned on the camera, he's like an extrovert. He's like a different version of himself. Like I keep saying different version, but he's, like it's like almost like an alter ego. You know what I mean? Like he kind of he's an extrovert, and he's like, exaggerating reactions and things like that. And yeah, like I'm not being fake for you guys, but it's like, or not being fake for myself, but it's just I'm being different to the point where it made me a little uncomfortable at times because I felt like the way I had made certain videos is a strict guideline of what I had to follow. When the only guideline really that I should be having is, what do you feel like doing today? What do you want to do? Do you want to have a positive outlook? Do you want to be more neutral and level-headed to what you're feeling at the moment? Like, what are you feeling at the moment? And I mean, honestly, it's not like I would ever put out any negative content out there unless it's really a cause that I feel is negative in itself. I would never try and tear down uh, like a person or a likeliness that's, you know, positive to me, or like something that's not harmful, like, or like a cause or anything like that. Like I'm not the type to put out hate content. Like I'm not, not that type of person. So if I feel negative, which is not very often, I'll get frustrated, but negative, like hatred towards a person, not really. But anyway, um, if I feel like that, I'm probably not gonna turn the camera on anyway, because again, it's just, I feel like anger is not always my authentic self. But anyway, when it comes to what I want to talk about and how I want to approach it, I should, I was basically trying to like define that by a script or like a narrative that I wanted to push. And nah, I'm not, that's not, that's not 100% me. So what I'll say is, if you come to this channel expecting like 100% like motivational speaker videos and stuff like that, you know, gotta be real with you. It's, it's not like that over here. What I would describe it is more what it's like to live as me, or what it's like in my brain, or what it's like in my heart, basically, or just what it's like to be my friend, or something like that. Because again, as much as I'm being open with you guys, you don't know 100% of me, and no one really knows 100% of me. Of course, family or friends might know a high percentage of me, but they never know 100. I might not even know 100. So I would just say it's like an insight. It's not 100% like what it's like to be me. But yeah, I just want to be me as much as I can to um and just share that with you guys. And whether it benefits you or whether it benefits me, that's what I want to do. So I'm done trying to create a manual on how to run a YouTube channel of this sort. Um, because yeah, it's not all motivational speech. Like if I'm being honest, um, my relationship with God right now is not amazing, I would say, and it's almost like completely tethered, honestly. Like that's how low I got, and you guys had like literally uh seen me exercise like my faith and how much I had at the time in my videos. Like I've mentioned it almost every video, pretty much. Um, so yeah, it's not great right now. I think a lot of my frustration again had like kind of been directed toward like Adam, and I really don't know. I don't even remember, which is sad because I feel like all that cancer stuff was so traumatic that my mind kind of just blocked it out, a lot of it, because I was re watching that video of me like basically talking about my cancer journey so far, and it's I'm not saying it's like completely wrong, but some things are definitely out of order. Like some things had maybe had like one thing would happen before one thing, and the basic premise is on track. Like it's not completely jumbled and stuff. Like I remember stuff like I remember the important parts of it, but when it comes to like you know 3 months like routine scans, like sometimes I would get that mixed up. And no one has perfect memory, but it's just sad how I don't remember a lot of that stuff. Um, but anyway, the point that I was making, that you know I mentioned also in that video how close I had gotten with God after everything, but now it's just I don't know how I got over my frustration with him, because I really do feel like why do I have to fight this? And like there's always that quote, honestly, which I've grown to like to dislike, um, is oh, God's gives us like his biggest battles or something like that, says strongest warriors. But really, like I didn't ask to be a warrior. Like I wasn't born, and I wasn't like you know give me a helmet, give me a sword and a shield, give me a gun. Like I want to fight a war, I want to fight a battle for the rest of my life. I never asked for this. I never wanted to be this, and it's made my life so much worse. And my positive outlook that I did get from that video is true. It did help me in some way. Like there's there's positives of everything. There's positive and negative of everything. And cancer is not 100% bad, but it's it's a lot of bad. It's like 90 something percent. Like it's not all bad, but you can really cherry pick anything good out of it. It's not like I was cherry picking. Like I really did. It really did change my life for some good, but it's changed my life for a lot of bad too. And like this past couple of months of just like deep depression and suffering and just pain and all that, it makes me question like why would you let this happen to me? Like I never asked to be this. I never asked to be the trooper. I never asked to be the Superman, the Man of Steel. I never asked that. Like if that's what it means to be strong, then I want like I would never want to be strong. If being strong means you have to go through insane amounts of suffering, that's never something that I want. And I really I can't even remember how I understood, like how I even moved on from that. I could never understand why like this is happening to me or ever happening to anyone, because people like have said, oh, it can be a lot worse. But yeah, like again, like what about those people who are worse? Like you telling me kids deserve to die of cancer? You telling me anyone deserves to die of cancer? You telling me anyone that isn't like that hasn't mass murdered people or something of that nature doesn't, like, you telling me they deserve to die? Like I've had people close to me die prematurely. Like they didn't die of natural causes. They didn't die of like old age or anything like that. Like they die because something killed them, or someone killed them, or things like that. And you telling me they deserve to die? Like you can never convince me of that. And yeah, that frustration has been, it made me kind of like turn turn back the clock. Because I before, when I was frustrated with him, I would almost act like he wouldn't exist. Like the things that I've done is what I have done out of my own strength. And that even showed through my belief a little bit. I don't believe that like anything anyone has ever done is God's doing. I think people I used to think, well, I mean, it's hard to say like definitively, but um I believed like God gives people strength, yeah, or they give you like the will or the way. But these people, we have free will. Like we have the opportunity to do these things ourselves. Like whatever turmoil we're facing, God may give us the opportunity to do something, but He doesn't force us. He doesn't force our hand. That's not something that He does. I was believing like the steps that we have to take are our own steps. And now I like in that meant like mental deterioration, I was like, yo, like I've done this myself. Like there's no one above me that's pushing me to do anything. Like anything, everything that I've endured is through my own strength and my own strength alone. And that may infuriate a lot of people or that may upset a lot of people. But honestly, like in yeah, like that's the way you feel when you're that disconnected from it, like from God and from the reason why you're suffering. Like, if I'm suffering this much, then it's like almost like, is he even real? Or does he even love me? Because why is he doing this to me? Or why is he letting this happen to me? So I'm like, okay. It's almost like that fuck everybody mindset. Like, I'm just gonna do this alone. And that made me isolate from my friends sometimes, maybe isolate from my family sometimes. Um, and that made me turn to taking marijuana sometimes because it makes like it sounds dumb or it sounds like something an addict would say, but it makes all the bad things go away. Like literally I had tried to like tear myself down while I was, high. Um like the same way I would when I was sober, and like it just didn't hold the same weight. It was almost like lowering the volume, like on regular life, like just sober. It's like depression is on max volume or it's on high volume, and when I would take that, it's almost like almost muting it, or it's almost just lowering the volume. And that's another reason why it made me feel guilty, because like I'm taking this to escape away from my problems. Like that's the same reason why an addict would do that. And I don't want to be an addict. I don't want to rely on something that is not my own body. That, unless it's something that I physically cannot live without. So yeah, like I believe in that strongly. Like I've turned down pain medicine, or I've turned down nausea medicine because I felt that it was not dire enough for me to need it. That's why another reason why I left the hospital that day when I went to the ER, because I'm not sitting here and I'm not gonna rely on your pain medicine when I don't need it. Even when I honestly, it would have been nice to be on pain meds. Um, I'm not relying on your drugs. Like I'll be fine, pretty much. And I've been telling people like I'm fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Because as much as I like these things that I have around me, I don't want to rely on it. I don't want to feel like a burden to whatever I'm relying on. Like, well, more of who I'm relying on. So like I don't like a lot of the times I don't want to talk about the things just because one, it almost doesn't help anymore, and two, it's just like I don't want to. I'm tired of relying on y'all. Like I don't want to be any heavier than I already am, pretty much, like on their back. And it's hard because I did make this channel out of like I still been feeling this way to some extent. Definitely not to this like extreme, but like I've been feeling like depression really doesn't. I feel like it doesn't really go away. It might get like a lot better. Um, but it never really like disappears, I would say. Or I don't know, or at least not for long, if it does. But like part of the reason why I want it to be positive is because that's what I would want out of someone else, or that's what I would, that's what I would need to hear. And I wanted to, for people like me who may not have everything to talk to or feel like wanting to talk to anyone, just like having an insight and a perspective on what you're feeling, but also hearing someone give a positive outlook on that and give someone like something someone would look forward to. Like, again, I'm not a big YouTuber at all by any means, but people got to realize like 100 something people might not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of YouTube, but imagine speaking in front of a room of 130 people who respect and like you and like want to hear your opinion on things and want to hear like respect the words that are coming out of your mouth, right? So these people who are coming up to me and giving me positive outlook, it's like positive feedback. It's like it makes me want to be like a light for them. And that's, I think I mentioned before, that's something that I wanted to avoid, feeling like I have to be something for y'all, or like you know like feeling tied to this. But I think it's definitely not anyone's fault but mine, and that's just the way that my mind grasped onto this, because of my own faults or insecurities. So yeah, gotta do better. Pretty much. But it helped me a lot to say all of this out loud, because I haven't said all this out loud. And if I'm being honest, runtime is like looking like 2 hours right now. No one is gonna sit and watch and hear me talk for 2 hours completely. So it helps to journal, to record and document what you have to say, even if you never release it. I have a lot of unreleased recordings of just talking because it helps. Even if I sit down and intend to record, sometimes I'll say something that I'm not comfortable sharing with, the channel, or it might invade on someone's privacy to the point where like someone might find out who they are, or where whatever. But even if it never comes out, it still makes an impact of you saying it, because thinking it, yeah, again, Dan TDM had mentioned like thinking something and writing it down or saying it out loud is a lot different. Like it doesn't, ironically, it doesn't cross your mind when you think of something, you know? Like when you think of something, it doesn't sound absurd. But when you hear yourself say, or it doesn't like, you don't relieve yourself by thinking about it sometimes, especially when it comes to depression. So, he mentioned like oh, I wanted to take my own life. And he said, thinking about it, it didn't seem all that crazy. But once he had written it down on his phone, he was like, this is crazy. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, what are you doing? Let's like stop, basically. And like he said, like almost like a third person was telling him like that's insane. Like, you need help. And like imagine if he had only been thinking and he never wrote anything down. Like, he might not be with us. And not that I'm trying to make a positive spin out of this, but this is genuinely what I feel. Talking about it with someone else or talking to yourself like I am right now, pretty much. Um, it helps. It helps in a way that you might not understand right away, um, or might not appreciate right away. But it's almost like he said, it's almost like it releases from your body. Like, once you think it and you say it out loud or you write it down, it almost like flushes it out. So, like it, just know you guys existing and watching this video on this platform, it's helped me a lot. And I appreciate that. Um, you don't have to watch this. I'm just, appreciative of the opportunity to be able to speak my mind without someone interrupting me or talking over me or, you know, sharing their problems and not leaving any space for me or whatever it may be. Because if YouTube had never existed, right? Um, I mean, a lot of things would be different for me, but in this sense, I don't think I would have had the motivation or like the willingness to talk about my feelings as much as I would. Like, I've written down my feelings before, but I've never sat and revisited, or I've never sat and like talked for this long, because it's like typing all of that or writing all of that on paper. It's so much. It's like I'm not gonna write everything. Can't. Like, to imagine writing down 2 hours worth of speaking. Um so yeah, I never really, I feel like this should have been a stream. Whatever. But like, the opportunity to say all of this and then also be able to share it with you guys, I appreciate it. Even if you don't watch or whatever, the fact that I am speaking it out into the world helps a lot. Um, but yeah, like, it helps a lot, and I think y'all should try it if you're struggling with that, and that's why I want to share, because I might not be able to motivate you at all times because I'm not gonna lie, I simply just do not want to. It's not the content. I might not I might not want to create that content all the time, but hopefully the fact that, or hopefully if you resonate with this video, that helps you a little bit, because at the end of the day, my intention is to still help you guys, or provide some type of like satisfaction from watching, like entertainment or information or whatever reason you watch. um but yeah, again, at the end of the day, I'm still doing what I want to do, but hopefully what I want to do also helps you. You know what I mean? I don't want to destroy myself to help you, but I hope me keeping myself intact helps you, for sure. And let's talk about some good news, because this has been all negative. So, you already know your boy. Well, if you've been on my Instagram or if you know me, your boy is committed to college. Going to UConn. I'm not gonna tell you which campus, but going to UConn. So super cool. Um, Glad I got accepted, you know, and I'm going for psychology, psychological sciences. So super cool, you know, got accepted. Figured out the money and stuff. And that's been a lot of release of burden because I felt like so heavily that I had to like help with college and had to help around the house. I had to help with this and that. But that relieved me a lot because, you know, we had to talk about stuff like that. Or we just had to talk about it and it's, you know, they just want me to be okay. Like be well, be healthy. So I appreciate that. Um and then what's some other things? Some positive things that's been going on. Damn, it's really that hard to think about something positive. I mean, I don't know. I'm doing better in the past few days than I have been for a little bit. Um, Honestly, you know, like yeah, I'm trying to be a little positive about it. Um, at the moment, I can't really think of anything particularly positive other than the college stuff. Um, but I would say yeah, I'm just getting better. But I'm still realistically, I'm still not 100%, or I'm not like where I want to be. Like I'm still struggling with like some thoughts sometimes, and still struggling with faith, and still struggling with, you know, just depression in general and being sick, and, you know, having to catch up on schoolwork and how college is going to go in that sense of me being sick. And also just like like I'm human, like I still miss my friends sometimes. I still miss that person that, you know, I unfortunately could not like be with, I guess. Gotta look back on this video later and be like, oh brother. But anyway, you know, I'm just being honest because, you know, like everyone clowns on the high school shit and oh, you know, like, you know, they say whatever. But at the end of the day, like we're all still human. uh, Um, and we have feelings. Like we like each other, we love each other, whatever. And may some of it be stupid, yeah. But like at the end of the day, it's still a lot of it, or some of it is rooted in good intention and just, you know, simply wanting someone beside you, or whatever. And I'm not gonna apologize or try and like feel guilty about that. Like, yeah, I'll probably look back on this video later. I might cringe or something, but really the thing I should do is just respect that. Yeah, like just respect that. Like when someone younger than me comes up, being like, oh, I like this boy, or I like this girl, or I like, you know, whoever. Um, I never disrespect that. I'd be like, oh, you know, feelings are stupid at that age, and yeah, da, 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 da. Like I'm not disrespecting that. You know, I just ask like, oh, what do you like about them, or you know, how's it going, or whatever like that. But I think we shouldn't really disrespect feelings, and that like romantic feelings, or just any feelings, because at that age it feels right, even if it may not go anywhere, or you know, be in the rooted in the right things. You know, just let them rock. That's how you learn. Even if it doesn't go anywhere, but if it does, like you're encouraging healthy things. You know what I'm saying? And at a young age, that could be a good thing. Um, and it could teach you a lot, whatever way it goes. But you know, like yeah, I'm still bummed out about it, human stuff, and I'm honestly a little glad that I'm bummed out about it because you know, like yeah, it's taking a toll on me and it's taking a toll on you know, other things, but the fact that I haven't immediately tried to look for another solution in another girl, or like yeah, just the fact that I haven't done that, is a good thing. I think it's a step in progress because I do feel a little ashamed that I was doing that, and I feel bad because I'm sure some of those girls are probably like talking amongst themselves and being like, "Yo, like this dude is weird. Like he's trying to talk to everyone, whatever." So it's not like I was really making flirty advances or anything. Like again, I'm not stepping out of the friendly like line, but people might see that as weird. So I'm just glad I haven't done that, and I've really sat down and just like digested the fact that it happened. Um, yeah, I think I'm making progress. Like I literally am making progress as we speak, which is great because I do not want to feel like this anymore. But yeah, hopefully, I see you guys soon, or and as we keep progressing on, hopefully I'm better, and hopefully, I'm on to better things, and um, things like that. Like hopefully things are just better because I don't want to get any worse, definitely. And I wouldn't really like to stay the same because I'm still hurt, still not 100 or not even 100%, just not where I would want to be in life right now. Just in general, in all aspects. So you know, thank you for watching. Pretty much. Thank you for watching. Um, I'll see you guys later, and stay cool. I don't know, stay in school, stay in your job if you don't go to school, or stay at home if you're at home. Actually, don't stay at home. Just you know, make advances, man. And it's okay to be not okay, and you don't have to rush to be okay. Sometimes you can just sit and not be okay for a little bit. So remember that. Thank you for listening. See y'all later.